Well, here we are again. How you all doing, folks? This is a Hornby Princess Elizabeth that was sent to me by a chap called Dennis. He says the connection between the locomotive and the tender is broken and that the loco doesn't run particularly well in reverse. So let's turn on the power. Oh. Well, it looks like the polarity's wrong. Let's try that again. Yep. So polarity's wrong and it doesn't seem to be running very smoothly at all. Let's just put it into reverse. So the polarity is clearly wrong. Looks like there's been some jiggery faffery going on. So I think we've got a bit of a wiring issue and a bit of a pickup issue. So we'll get this into the shed and see if we can sort it out. Okay, let's get a look at this. This is the R2426 Princess Royal class Princess Elizabeth, made in China. You can see the wires are loose here that should be connected to the drawbar, and one of the contacts has broken off the drawbar. Dennis has given me the little broken part, so yeah, I might be able to solder that back on. So I think that should all fix okay. Looking underneath, have a look at the pickups. They're making contact. They're making contact. Maybe the one on that side's not too good. So hopefully maybe just a bit of a clean of the pickups and sort out this drawbar, and it might work okay. Let's look at the pickups on the tender. Yeah, they're not making contact with that wheel very much. So I might have to open that up and adjust the pickups a little bit. Righto, let's open this up and see what fun awaits. Right, nice screw at the front here. I think that just clips in at the back, so does that lift out? Yes, it does. There we go. Oh. Get that out of the road. Alright, this is wired up for DCC. So yeah, this would have been a DC model, so somebody's converted it to DCC. Just going to see if we can peel off this insulating tape and get a look at this chip. So there it is, there is the decoder. My knowledge of DCC is very limited, but my understanding is that if it's been hardwired, so that the decoder is connected straight to the motor and the pickups, that it won't run too well on DC. It'll need a certain amount of power. I think it's about 7 volts or something, 5 or 7 volts before it'll run, and that kind of figures with what was happening on the layout. When I tried to run it, it didn't pull away smoothly at all. You know, it needed a bit of power to make it go. And I think that, coupled with the iffy pickups, is why it's not running well at all. So I think what I'll do is I'll get in touch with Dennis and see if he's happy for me to rip all this out and convert it back to DC so it'll run properly. Okay, so Dennis has agreed to convert this back to DC, so we'll get rid of this chip. But before I do that, God, these valve gears keep just drop out the motion brackets in this thing and come right out the cylinders. Need to be careful with that. Right, so before I do anything else, I want to get a good look at the pickups. Where's my screwdriver? Because I want to see exactly how this was originally wired. So I think we'll take this rear bogie off out with its spring. I think we'll take this front bogie off as well. Okay, so there's a black wire here that appears to come up from the pickups. There's a red wire screwed into there, so I'm assuming, even though there's pickups in all the wheels, one set of pickups must be connecting to the chassis, I think, and then it passes current through that wire. Let's get a look in here and we'll suss it out. It comes out. We'll pull these wires up through here and untangle them. So that's connected to the black wire and that's connected to the red wire. Just be very mindful of that valve gear. So does that connect to either of those? Yes. And that is the red wire. So the red wire connects to the chassis, I think. And that one goes to there. Okay. So you can see there's a little bit of the chassis pokes through the underframe there. And then this pickup is supposed to rest on top of that. I think it's meant to be soldered to that little bit of the chassis. But it's come off. I mean, this is a terrible pickup arrangement, to be honest. Okay, I think we'll have to try and clean the pickups. See, that one comes out. So we can at least clean that up. So that one must be connected to the wire there. Right, okay. I don't think I'll pull this out because I think I'm at severe risk of just doing it damage. I'm just going to tape down this pickup here just to keep it in place. Now, solder's just not taking in there, but I've raised the profile of the solder a bit, so I think when I put this back on, you can see how that's been bent. Hopefully, when I put this back on, that'll press against that little piece of the chassis there and make a contact. But it is a really, really stupid design. Right, let's see if I put this on. Does it force that to contact? Right, okay, that seems to work. Let's get rid of this chip. Yeah, we'll need to snip that there. There. Peel this tape back a bit. Get this desoldered. So that one. And just desolder this orange wire. Peel that off. And that should be the chip away. So we're left with a red wire and a black wire. And one will connect to one terminal of the motor and one will connect to the other. I need to figure out which one goes where. Strip the end of that and strip the end of that. Turn the power on the controller. And then we should be able to find out which way is which. So I really want the locomotive to go this way. I might have to lengthen that wire. So let's just hold that on there. Yeah, so the black wire goes to the top and the red wire goes to the bottom. Red wire on. That's the black wire on. Okay. That's fine. Okay, so before I look at fixing this, I want to open up the tender because I think the pickups aren't the best. There's a sneaky screw right on top of that this coupling. There we go. Get that out the road, and then we've got a screw here. And now that comes off. And then we can take the wheels out, I think. Brush out all the fluff. They're clean enough really, it's just fluff that's got in there. So we'll just bend these pickups out a bit. So they're going to make good contact. And let's take these wheels in. We'll give the wheels a scoosh with a contact cleaner and give them a wee polish. Just making sure they're clean on the insides as well. That's where the pickups make contact. Put these back in. Put that back on. Put the sneaky screw back in. Push the coupling back in. So when this is hooked on, this contact here is in contact with that bit there, and these little fin contacts make contact with this metal strip here, like that. So I need to determine which is which. So I want this side to connect to the red wire, and that is the metal strip, and that side, come on, connects to that. So I want to solder a wire to this contact here to the black wire, and from this contact to the red wire. But before we do that, I mean, this will work with just this one contact, but I wonder if we can get the other one soldered on. Might not be easy, to be honest. I've looked online for a replacement of one of these drawbars, and I think Dennis had looked as well. Can't get one for love nor money. So we're kind of lumbered with just trying to repair this. The other option is to hardwire the thing, to have the tender permanently coupled. But I'd rather not do that. I don't mind that with like an 060 locomotive, a small locomotive. But with a big long beast like this one, don't really want that. You want to be able to disconnect the tender easily. I mean, we could do it by way of a little plug, but let's just see if we can get this fixed. So it's possible to tuck that underneath there, like that. And would that still make contact if that's in place? Yes, it should do. It should do. So I can maybe get a tiny wee spot of solder on that. Just take this out again. I'm going to dip that in a little bit of flux. And then slide it under there. Right, okay. Yeah, I think that's sort of worked. Is that one on? Yeah, that'll do it, I think. Not my finest bit of soldering. Right, I'll fix this back on. Pop that spring in. Just go that way round. So to feed this up through the wee hole there. And then we want to solder that to that terminal on the motor. There we are. So I'll put a piece of tape across the wires here. Don't want them wiggling about. Right, okay. Does that move freely? Yes, it does. Okie dokie. Right, we'll add a wee bit of lubrication into the bearing at the back here. And we'll pop this open. It's not dry or anything. I'll put some fresh grease in and I think it'll be fine. Okie dokie, right. I think we're just about done. Let's make sure this valve gear is all sitting right. Right, put this on the test track. All seems fine. Light the tender on. It doesn't go when the tender's on. Tender off, and it goes. Oh dear, something must be shorting somewhere. Let's just double check I've not got my wiring wrong. So the plate connects to the wheels on the right, and those wheels should connect to that. So those wheels and those wheels are connected to that. And these wheels connect to that, which connects to the plate on the bottom. Why is it shorting? Ah, right. I think I see the problem. So I let the tender lead me. So the wheels on this side are connected to this plate, which will then connect to those, and that connects to the pickup there, and that pickup goes through the chassis, and this technically is connected to the chassis through through this bogie, through the pony truck, because it screws into there. For that to be right, I would have to swap the wires over, and it'll run backwards. Jings, jings, jings. I wonder. Let's have a look at this tender. So if I swap those wires over there, that I think would then work. I can't believe this came out the factory with a polarity roll. I can't see what I'm missing, if I am missing anything, because that runs correctly now on its own. It's just getting reverse polarity from the tender. I suppose we just try and desolder these and swap them over. Michty me. What I carry on. Do this very carefully, because we're near plastic here. It's the black one off. So it wants to go to the other side. The red one off. Can I just get that red one on here now? It's the red one back on, and the black one back on. Does that now run on the test track? Yes, it does. There we go. Well, that's something I've never done before. Reverse the polarity in a tender. Right, okay. I hate the way this front bogey can actually turn 360 degrees. Okay. There we go. Working. Right, okay then, let's go and pull out the shed and give it a run around the layout. Okay then, let's bring it out. So there we are, that's this Princess Elizabeth sorted. As ever, a bit more involved than I expected, but I converted it back to DC and sorted out the polarity issue, which was a bit weird. And then I sorted out the drawbar connections. That design for passing power from the tender to the locomotive is way too delicate and a little over-engineered, really. It's always going to have issues. I did consider just hard wiring the tender to the locomotive to bypass all that nonsense, but it's a very long locomotive to have a hardwired tender. I did think about fitting a wires with a plug and socket, but it's working as it is, so we'll just go with it. You just have to be very careful when you're connecting the tender to the locomotive. So she's running very nicely now. I don't have the experience of DCC locos running on DC, so anyone who does, please correct me, but I think for running on DC you're better without the chip, unless it's a DCC ready locomotive from the manufacturer with a blanking plate. Hardwired DCC, as this was, it's been converted from DC to DCC. It's better left for DCC only. If you want to run a DC, convert it back. Anyway, I'll get this packed up and sent back to Dennis. Catch you later, folks.